The predictability matrix. Now, why for every family court outcome can be forecasted before it's even happened. Now, people imagine the family court is unpredictable because they misunderstand what they're looking at. They think that chaos means randomness. Chaos in the family court is not random. It's patterned. It's engineered, structured. The unpredictability you feel is not the system, it's your perspective, because you're trying to understand the machine through moral reasoning, and the machine does not run on morality. It runs on incentive loops, narrative construction, and professional psychology infection. Once you see that, the chaos becomes choreography. The confusion becomes consistency. The contradiction becomes logic. The system becomes predictable, not because it's fair, but because it cannot escape its own architecture. Let's map the predictability matrix, the 8 patterns that will allow you to see exactly what the court will do next. Number 1, narrative always wins over evidence. Remember that. The narrative always wins over evidence. If evidence threatens the narrative will win. I guarantee it. The narrative will always win. Now, that every time. That means strong evidence will be reframed, contradicted. Evidence will be, well, not contradicted, but it'll be ignored. Inconvenient evidence will be, well, gone missing. Your legacy's lack of evidence will be downplayed. Your evidence will become interpretation. Yeah. Their claims will become concerns. So if your truth threatens the script and you've got the evidence to back it up, you already know the outcome. It will be rewritten. Predictable. Guarantee it. The first professional to come to write a report controls the entire case. That's right, folks. The first professional to write the report controls and dictates the entire case. CAFCASS is not the start of your case. CAFCASS is the blueprint setter. Their first impression becomes, well, the judge's subconscious anchor. Social services direction, the experts frame the narrative DNA. If they cast you as a problem, every professional will inherit the same script, not because they agree, but because disagreeing threatens institutional alignment. So the pattern is simple. The first report dictates the ending, predictable. Number 3, the more calm and logical you are, the more threatening you become. Professionals expect chaos. They're trained to see you as an emotional detonator. When you stay rational, composed, and analytical, you break the psychological template that they rely on. So the system reacts by escalating language like pathologizing, calm, creating concerns, provoking emotional responses, reframing logic as control. And why? Because your clarity is a threat to the narrative engine. So they must reinterpret it as a risk. Clarity, threat. Threat equals risk. Risk equals concern. Concern equals justification. Predictable. Any challenge to the professional authority becomes hostility. Professionals are incentivized to protect the organism's authority. So when you ask a question, correct a fact, or point out contradictions, defend yourself, highlight a breach, or reveal a flaw, it will be interpreted as non-cooperative, concerning, hostile, aggressive, unable to work with professionals. Not because it is that way, but because it has to be. Any challenge threatens the narrative stability. So the reaction is built into the system, predictable. Number 5, the parent who fits the narrative least will be punished the most. If you are articulate, rational, strategic, emotionally controlled, evidence-based, analytical, you are dangerous to the organism because you can see the architecture. So the pattern is, the more competent you are, the more risk indicators they will manufacture. Not out of malice, but out of structural necessity. Predictable. Number 6, the system will always choose the path that it protects itself, not the child. If protecting the child creates institutional vulnerability, it will not happen. If harming the child protects the narrative, it will happen. Not intentionally, mechanically. So any situation where the safer parent is the problem, the dangerous parent is minimized. The child's voice is interpreted as abuse is reframed as conflict. Risk assessments are backward, and you already know the outcome. Institutional safety equals child safety. Predictable. Now, number 7, if the system will always close ranks when concerned. When the narrative is threatened, CAFCASS becomes defensive. Social services echo them, experts anchor their opinions to the existing script. The judge defers to consensus. Professionals' errors vanish and concerns become new problems. It's not conspiracy, it's an organism repairing its own membrane. Predictable. 8. Every decision the court makes is the one that creates the least risk to the institution. Not to the child, not fairness, not truth, not justice, not your family, the institution. This single lens predicts everything. Why the cases drag, why risk is inflated, why emotional parents get punished, why abusive ex-partners get protected, why evidence gets buried, why dangerous recommendations get made, why outcomes feel predetermined. It's not incompetence, it's incentive alignment. Once you see the incentive, you can predict the decision every time. It's predictable. The matrix summary is the hardest truth. The family court is not unpredictable, it's painfully predictable. You only think it's unpredictable because you were trained to expect fairness, neutrality, and logic, consistency, accountability, evidence-based reasoning. The system doesn't operate on any of those. It operates on narrative, fear, institutional safety, professional ego, survival logic, risk avoidance, incentive maintenance, bureaucratic self-preservation. Once you understand the predictability matrix, you stop defending yourself reactively, and you begin forecasting and anticipating, preempting. You stop being prey and you become the analyst. And analysts don't get eaten by the organism, they decode it.